Mini Wargamer Dave here from miniwargaming.com. Welcome Wargamers to another Let's Build a List video. In this video we're going to do 1,500 points. You're going to really like this because this is the size of army that I see a lot and that you probably play a lot or seen played. 1,500 points seems to be that standard. It's like right, it's just a nice number. You can fit an awesome amount of points in a 1,500 point army for some reason. It's just that magic number that you can create so many different variations of your army with it, and you don't skimp out on anything because there's enough points to be thrown around for it to be balanced and for things to be able to work in cohesion really, really well. So got a couple surprises in this list. Let's dive right into it and start the dissection. Eagle eye view, ladies and gentlemen, eagle eye view. Let's just soak this in just for a minute. Let's just take a look at this. What could this be? Yeah, you got the Assault Marine Squads. That's pretty typical. Let me see here. Fast attack, yeah, you got fast attack in the back. Bale Predators. There's a couple troops on the sides. Troops, maybe? We'll figure out what those are. You got 3 models up front. I wonder what they are. Ooh, red cape, blue sword. That can only mean one thing. Yes, I knew it. HQ choice, Mephiston. Yes, he is the real deal. He's not a proxy, he is actually Mephiston, and he's going to be fielded in this list, whether you like it or not. He's going to tear up some stuff. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this guy, one encounter and you will become very familiar with him. He is disputably the strongest Blood Angel HQ choice in the Codex. He just really, really hates living things. They don't call him the Lord of Death for nothing. Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 5, strength 6, toughness 6, 5 wounds. Yeah, that's right. He's got 5 wounds. Isn't that ridiculous? Initiative 7. What does he think he's competing with, like a Banshee? He's got 5 attacks. He's got leadership 10 and 2+ save. And he's a psyker. He's able to use 3 psychic abilities per turn. He's got fleet. He's got like so many things. It's just, the list goes on and on. He's got a 4 sword, so he can instant kill multi-wound behemoths, and they're scared of him. His psychic hood helps from other people trying to affect him with psychic abilities as well. His 3 psychic attacks or abilities are the Sanguine Sword, Unleash Rage, and Wings of Sanguinius, which, to put in layman's terms, it's a strength 10 power weapon, it's preferred enemy, and it's a jump hack. That's basically what those things are. And let's not forget his Transfixing Gaze, which basically lowers the weapon skill attack, lowers one of the vital stats needed in close combat to any one independent character in your enemy's army. That's a pretty useful ability. I kind of forget to use that sometimes, but his weapon skill 7 and strength 6 kind of make up for it. And 5 attacks, 6 on the charge, make up for it. One of his brutal abilities, though, is when you roll for his Unleash Rage, preferred enemy, and you also roll for the Sanguine Sword, or the Strength 10, because you instant kill a lot of things with that, and you get to re-roll your failed hits. That basically ensures that Orc Knobs, or whatever the unit's called, where they have a lot of wounds and multi-war gear shenanigans, you can take them out pretty easily. Now, the only downside of Mephiston is that he doesn't have an invulnerable save, and he's not an Eternal Warrior. So he can be killed with a force weapon. He can't be instant killed with any weapon in the game because his toughness is toughness 6. So there is no strength of any weapon that could instant kill him. But he leads an army really, really well. And for those players that have played against him, they're terrified of this guy. It's really awesome. They just don't know what to do with him. They know they need to avoid him and take him out as soon as possible at the same time. They got to do both of those things somehow. Just the fact that he's on the table instills doubt and fear in the enemy, and it's pretty entertaining to see sometimes. And some people get emotionally attached to the idea of hating him and disliking him and not liking that he's around. I fought against guys who were like, oh, Mephiston, I hate Mephiston. Oh, he's such cheese. I gotta get rid of him. And so all their focus is on Mephiston. And that leaves the rest of my army to do whatever I want, because they're just so focused on Mephiston that they can't think of anything else. It's pretty entertaining. It's good. One assault round with him, it'll show you his abilities. It's just so much fun. He's the type of guy where his stats that are on paper are just as good as his stats in game. You know how like sometimes you look on paper and you're like, hey, that would be a good unit, that'd be a good configuration, and then you try it out and then it really, really sucks. And then you lose the game because of it and you get really depressed. Well, that doesn't happen with Mephiston. With Mephiston, he's the real deal. Just make sure that you're willing to part with 250 points of your army, because that's how much he is. Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't field him in an army less than 1,500 points. It's too many points placed in one model, one area. It just wouldn't make sense. 1,000-point game, it's a quarter of your army. Wouldn't make sense, right? Unless you're just bashing everything. Now, I've had games where Mephiston has taken out 3 times his points value. He went and destroyed a couple dreadnoughts, a couple squads of guys, a couple heavy support choices. Like, it's ridiculous what he's able to do, because he's got his Wings of Sanguinius, his jump pack. He's able to move so far, and he can fleet on top of that, and then he's up to the next guy. So he can move an incredible amount of distance, and he's able to use 3 psychic attacks. He's just a really, really strong guy. I didn't think that the majority of this video would be talking about Mephiston, but it is, because he's the leader of the army. And the leader of the army really determines the general morale of the rest of your guys in the army. But enough of Mephiston for now. If Mephiston shows up in future videos in this series, then not as much time will be focused on him. But I just wanted to go over the things that I really like about him in this video, because he's essentially the first time that he's being introduced. I'm going to pretend that you're watching this for the first time and that you haven't seen him before. That's why I went into as much detail as I did. And I can actually go on further, but I will go on to the rest of the army now. So zooming out just slightly, you see 2 Sanguinary Priests. They are on either side of Mephiston, as stated in previous videos, but I will say this again just in case you're watching this video for the first time and you haven't watched the other videos. Elite choices, independent characters, you're able to attach them to your squads. I always field them with the troops' choices. They grant Furious Charge and Feel No Pain to a squad that they are a part of, and also a unit, a friendly unit that is within 6 inches of them. So keep that in mind when you field them in the battlefield and when you are just simply moving them around on the table. I always equip jump packs on them as well. Base they're 50 points, jump pack 25. Makes them a little more expensive, but it makes it so much more worth it, because if you think about it, when you attach one of these guys to an Assault Marine squad, you increase the effectiveness of the attacks, especially the attacks on the charge, because you increase the strength and the initiative. You're killing so many more points. You get that extra 25 points back so fast, and all the stuff that you will kill because of the awesome abilities that you grant, and also the saves that you will make on your Assault Marines. Those Feel No Pain rolls, if you think about it, half the time they make it, right? So you're going to be saving half of the amount of unsaved wounds that you get on your guys, where regular saves are allowed. If you think of it that way, you get that many more points back. So that 25-point investment of the jump pack on the Sanguinary Priest, in order to move him just as fast as your Assault Marine squad that they are going to be a part of, is well more worth the points than what it costs. I don't know if that came out right, but basically, good investment. And 1,500 points, we're able to field 2 of them in the army, no problem. And the good thing about Sanguinary Priests is that you're able to field 1 to 3 in a single unit. So that only takes up 1 elite choice. In this particular army, it doesn't matter as much because there aren't any other elite choices, but in other lists, that may make a difference. And so just keep that in mind when you're fielding them. You don't have to bring separate units of Sanguinary Priests. Let's go on to the troops. Gee, Dave, I haven't seen this before. Man, that looks like an awesome configuration. 10-man squads of Assault Marines with 2 melta guns and a Power Fist and a Sergeant in each squad. Never would have thought of that. Yeah, that's just the Garden variety staple. No tactical, Assault Marine all the way. But one of these days, they will be fielded in drop pods. That will just be fun. Because for some reason, they're able to cash in their jump packs, and drop pods are free. You don't have to pay any extra points for them. So it just might be fun to do that. One trick pony squads though, because after you shoot off their melta guns maybe that are in the squad, then they can be assaulted or shot at or whatever. They're very vulnerable. So I wouldn't count on that winning the game for you, and it's not as expensive as paying regular price for a drop pod. Let's go on to fast attack. 3 Bale Predators, assault cannons up top. That is the only thing that is equipped on them. I am fielding 3 of them because I can. That is right. 3 of these guys. 3 of these tanks. Fast tanks that have scout moves in the face of the enemy is a scary thing. They are forced to deal with it. They have to, because assault cannons are a little nasty no matter what army you're facing, because the strength 6 is rending. And so yes, it's only AP4, but it's a rending shot, and there's 4 of them because it's assault 4. You can't ignore that. And the twin linked makes it better as well. If you're fielding an army, this army, against hordes, then you may want to consider the Flamestorm cannon, because it just kills a lot quickly. And the template ignores cover, so that's useful too. But 3 of these guys, they're 115 points each. That's a little more expensive than your heavy support counterpart, being 70 points. But you don't get scout moves with just a regular heavy support predator. With fast attack, you do. Keep that in mind. It's fun. I have fielded 3 of these before, and you will not be disappointed. Going on to this side, there's 5 guys there. I wonder what they are. Oh, I know what they are. They're Devastators. I knew it. Hey look, there's 5 more on that side. What are they doing in this army? Well, let me tell you. Devastators are awesome. If I'm not fielding Predators, I'm fielding Devastators. They are my other choice. They're actually tied in my books of awesomeness with Predators because of their abilities. You can take 4 special weapons and heavy weapons at that. I typically like to field missile launchers. 4 of them. Each of these squads is equipped with 4 missile launchers. And I never forget to use my signum. The sergeant has a signum, and what he does is he forgoes his own shooting, and he basically shouts out to one of his comrades, "You can do it. You can do a better job than me. Fire with all your might, and you are granted Ballistic Skill 5. That's what happens when a signum is used. And it's just useful because you only have 4 weapons that are useful in the squad. The sergeant isn't going to be firing his bolter at whatever. Typically, you're not going to have the range for it. So using his signum is like a freebie, essentially. I always do it. It's fun. I never forget. And a lot of times, that signum, only needing a 2 to hit, has saved me just countless times. I can't even number. So make sure you remember to use that. 1,500 point game, 2 Devastator squads. That's 8 missiles on the field. Strength 8, AP3, 48-inch range. I keep them at the back. And I like to keep them in cover if I can. There's some sort of area terrain. If not, then it's fine because there's a lot more things to contend with in the army. I mean, look at those assault marine squads. Those are going to be in the face of your enemy. And the good thing about these Devastators and their missile launchers is that you're going to pretty much kill something every single turn. It may not be an entire squad of something, but it's going to be a few models. It's going to be. It just has to. Because you got 8 of them in total. I like the reliability of that. I field 2 Devastator squads. I never field just one. If I had the choice between 1 10-man squad or 2 5-man squads, I would choose 2 5-man squads. The reason being is because you get more weapons, you get double the amount of good heavy weapons, and you get an additional sergeant, which is able to use his signum. Yes, it's more points, but it is definitely well worth the reliability of it. Let's zoom out. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, 1,500 points of devastation. Field it. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you have fielded similar lists, and if you haven't, let me know how this list works out for you, because it works out well for me, and I really like it. It's a well-rounded list, it really is. You have everything. You have your support in the back with the Devastators. You have your fast attack scouting Bale Predators that are up in the enemy's face on round 1. And you have your assault marine squads that are in the middle, moving up, causing devastation. And then you have Mephiston, who is just a regular fear for anyone, really. One last thing, when you're fielding Mephiston, make sure you field him, you move him up behind another unit. That unit will provide cover for him because he will be shot at with weapons that negate his armor of 2, and you don't want to be losing those wounds unnecessarily. You want to save it as much as possible. Give him a 4+ cover by putting a unit in front of him. That is all. Happy wargaming.